So let's look at this paper first. And again, what is it that we need to do? We need to identify which are the sets we need to be solving and which are the sets we need to keep for later. Now, in this particular paper, please remember there's a CAT 2018 paper. This was 1 hour section. Okay, it was a 1 hour per section. Okay. And in DILR, it had 8 sets. Okay. Now, if it has 8 sets, now it is unlike the current paper which has got 4 sets. All you need to do is which is 1, 2, 3, 4. When I had 8 sets at that point of time, my strategy used to be I will classify them as priority 1, priority 2, and priority 3. Priority 3 is which is effectively I am unlikely to attempt. This is what I would say are the easier ones. Okay. These are the easier ones which I should be doing them first. These are typically the medium level of difficulty, which can be solved but will take a little bit of time or might be a bit confusing. And the priority 3 is the one which are the difficult ones. And in the worst case, if I end up doing only P1 and P2, I'm perfectly fine. Because between these two, if I've done 4, 5, or 3 sets, at least I'm sure that I'll get a decent score. If not a 99 percentile, at least a 90 percentile will be there, which will ensure I have cleared the sectional cutoff. Okay. However, if I am very, very unfortunate, I'm able to do only the priority 1 sets. What that means is it's a difficult paper. If I'm able to do only these and nothing else but these, which is 2 or 3 sets, that means it's a difficult paper and the sectional cutoff will fall. I would not be too worried. So my idea is always to look at the priority 1 and priority 2. I would classify the sets as priority 1 or priority 2 depending upon my understanding of the set. Okay. And this is what I'll do first. If I have time in the end, then I'll worry about the priority 3 sets. But if I'm not able to do anything about them, it's not an issue as far as I'm concerned. Okay. Now let's look at the sets. And I'll keep going through the sets and keep telling you what is my priority with respect to it. There's priority 1 set, priority 2, or priority 3. And once I have done the priority 1, 2, and 3, then I'll go down and say, okay, which is the set within priority 1, 2, and 3, priority 1, which should be doing first, and similarly for priority 2 also. Okay, so let's get started with the first set. Now, the moment I see this set, what strikes me is this graph. I have not even read this data, and it's not necessary at this point of time. But I see this graph, which is a kind of a pie chart, and I can straight away see 2016, 2017, Jan, Feb up to December. Similarly, Jan up to December. So this is very clearly some data. It could be sales, it could be production, it could be something else. But data for 2016 and 2017, January to December, is given. This is what it is effectively saying. Okay, January to December is given. In some of the cases, some data is missing. Some numbers are missing. But I also have this in terms of quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4 for both the years. Okay, so this is very clearly telling me this is a data which is basically a DI kind of a data set, DI set, not a LR set. And when I'm saying it's a DI set, it is obviously going to be calculations. And with this kind of a data, the questions are likely to be about percentage change. Okay. Okay. This is what I have understood based on the graph itself. I have still not gone through the information. Now let's look at the information which is given to us. Okay, let's look at this. Okay, the multi-layered pie chart shown below is the LED sales of LED television. So what are these? These are the sales of LED television which is given for a big retail electronics outside during 2016 and 17. The outer layer shows the monthly sales, as we have already identified. This is monthly sales. Okay, with each label showing the month followed by the sales figure for that month. For some months, the sales figure are not given in the chart that we had already noticed. The middle layer shows the quarter-wise aggregate sales figure. In some cases, aggregate quarter-wise sales figures are not given, but we can always calculate. So Q1 is not given, but we can always calculate Jan, Feb, March. Q2 is given to us to 150, but May, June are not given. So obviously, we'll need to do some basic calculation to find out these numbers. The innermost layer shows the annual sales. So here the annual sales are not given, but to get the annual sales, obviously I need to find Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4 for both the years. Okay. Okay. The innermost, okay. Okay. It is known that the sales figure during the first 3 months of the second quarter. Let me just erase everything so that there's no confusion. Okay. So it is also known that the sales figure during the first 3 months of the second quarter, April, May, June 2016, form an arithmetic progression. So April, May, June of 2016 form an arithmetic progression. Okay, as do the 3 monthly sales figures for the fourth quarter, October, November, December of the same year. So October, November, December of the same year also form a arithmetic progression. Now, this is a very, very clear indicator that when you look at this set, this is something that is priority one. Because the numbers are simple, I know exactly what is given, and I'm reasonably sure the answer questions are going to be only about percentage change, or essentially about percentage and ratio. Now, let's look at the question before we finalize. Question 1 says, what is the percentage increase in sales from 17 to 16? Okay, in December 17 as compared to 16. Percentage change. Choices are not close. Similarly, look at question 2. In which quarter of 2016 was the percentage increase in sales for the same quarter of 2016 the highest? Again, quarter wise, this quarter has to be checked. Question 3, which quarter was the percentage? Again, the same thing. And similarly, question 4. This is priority 1. In fact, when I was doing the paper in CAT, this is the set I solved immediately. I did not wait for going through because I know that this is a fairly easy set. I know this is not going to take me a lot of time to solve. So I will definitely want to solve it. Okay. So this is my priority 1. Even if I don't solve it now, I go through the rest of the, but this is a very clear indicator that this is a priority 1 set and I should not waste my time doing anything else, but solve this first before I think of anything else. Okay. 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 So set 1 done. Let's look at set number 2. What is this all about? Again, my first notice, I always first notice the graph for the table. What is this? This is a missing data. I don't think there's any doubt in anyone's mind. This is a missing data table. And what is interesting, it more than 1/3 or more than 50% of the table is filled up. If you look at this is how many? 8, 2, 3, 4, 9, 10. These are 10 people. 10 into 3, 30 cells. Out of 30, look at this table. Almost or more than 50% is filled up. What is empty? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, less than 1/3 is empty. So just about, so this should not be very difficult as such, okay? Because a significant amount of data has already filled up. So this is a missing data table. Now let's look at the information given to us so that we can understand what is it that we need to do. A company administers a written test comprising 3 sections of 20 marks each: data interpretation, written English, and general awareness. So we have 20 marks each: data interpretation, written English, and general awareness. For recruitment, a composite score out of 80 is calculated by doubling the marks of DI and adding to the sum of marks of the other 2 sections. So the composite score is another component which will come. What is nothing but twice of DI plus marks in written English plus marks in general awareness. Okay. Candidates who score less than 70% of in 2 or more sections are disqualified. So that means based on the composite score and the fact that how many sections they have scored more or less than 70%, one classification will be qualified or disqualified. That's one classification that we need to do. Okay. From the rest among the 4 highest composite scores are recruited. Then there's something else which is called recruited. Okay. So the top 4 composite scores get recruited provided they are qualified. So the people who are disqualified will be eliminated and some of the others you will recruit. If 4 or less qualified candidates qualify, all who qualify recruited. 10 candidates appeared for the written test. Their marks in the table given below. Some marks are missing, but the following facts are known. So we have 6 statements. What is good about these statements? These are short statements. So they would be easy to understand. Okay? They would be easy to understand. Longish statements can at times be a little confusing also. Okay. Okay, so this again looks like a doable data set, but if you compare this with the first set there was nothing to be done. You just had to do the basic calculation. 3 data points were given where it was given it has to be arithmetic progression. But apart from that, everything else has to be was given. This one I will need to work my way through to get this. So compared to the set 1, this is a slightly more difficult set. And I would say at this point of time, I would still say the set number 1 followed by set number 2 in terms of my order of priority. But let's look at the questions. Questions, what do they tell us? Which of the following statements must be true? What does it mean must be true? This means there will be multiple cases. Why am I saying that? If it is must be true, that means in all possible cases it should be correct. Even if in one case it is not correct, it will be false. So most probably it will have multiple cases. Statement question 2, which of the following statement must be false? Again the same thing. It must be false in all possible cases. Third question is again confirming that this is a data set which you will not be able to solve completely. And the questions, and you will have to work with multiple cases. If all candidates except A and D had different marks in DI, all candidates except A and D had different marks in DI, that means we'll have to create a case where everyone had different marks in DI except A and D. Okay. And there's another condition. Similarly, question number 4, if all candidates scored different marks in written English, again, so what is this telling me? This is telling me multiple cases will be there. And while 70% of the table has been filled up, we'll not be able to fill up the table completely based on this data given. And we'll have to live with the fact that some of the questions are going to be, or rather, I'll have to look at all possible cases to solve some of the questions. Okay. So in terms of order of priority, it is to like doable set. I would not say it is not a doable set. Priority 1, set number 1 was there, but set number 2 would be either priority 1 or priority 2. It will be somewhere out here. I don't know where. At this point of time, should I keep it? It is a doable set, so that's why it could be priority 1. But it is something which could take time, so it could be priority 2. So based on my understanding of the other sets, then I'll worry about this one. But at this point of time, set number 1 to be preferred over set number 2 is a no-brainer. Okay. Next set. Okay. No table given, so we'll read the data completely. And since the information is not much, I don't mind reading these statements also. 24 people are part of 3 committees who have to look at research, teaching, and administration respectively. No 2 committees have any member in common. So one person becomes a member of only one committee. So 24 people have to be there. So, and no one person will be a member of more than one committee. Then it says no 2 committees are of the same size. Each committee has 3 types of people: bureaucrats, educationists, and politicians. So do you know what do you need to do? So there are 24 people. There are 3 committees: research committee, teaching committee, and admin committee. Okay, what do we need to do? Each of these committees has certain number of bureaucrats, educationists, and politicians. And how many people are there? 24. And what does it say? No 2 committees are of the same size. Each of these committees has a different number of people. Okay, so that is one condition given. Now please contrast this with the previous one. Previous one was a 10 by 3 table in which missing data was here. There's a smaller table that's a 3 by 3 table with 24 people, and we need to put these numbers in each of these. We need to fill up this. So in a way, there's also filling data. We have to fill up the numbers in these tables. Okay. Okay. It says all with at least one each from each type of committee. What does that mean? None of these cells will be 0. None of these cells will be 0. Okay. Now, when you look at the statements, the third statement catches my eye first. 60% of the politicians are in administration committee, 20% teaching committee. So if 60% of the politicians, if I say there are 10x politicians, 6 will be in administration committee, 6x. 16 will be administration, 20% will be in 2x will be in teaching committee, and the balance 2x is there. Or you could make it 5x, 3x, 5x here, 3, 1, 1 also. But this is telling me the numbers are simple. Though it is also telling me that you'll have to make cases, because when I have this, x could be 1, x could be 2, x could be 0.5 also. So there are 3 cases which is definitely there. Similarly, if I look at statement number 1, number of bureaucrats in research and teaching committee are equal. Number of bureaucrats in research and teaching committee are equal. They are equal. While the number of bureaucrats in research committee is 75% of bureaucrats in the administration committee. So what would I do? I'll say let administration be 4y, let these 2 be 3y each. Why would I do this? Because I don't want to work with decimals. I want to work with integers. Okay. So this is a set which, again, there's a middle statement is there, but these 2 statements, the shorter ones, are telling me theek hai, ho jayega, and it should not be too big a problem. But when I look at the questions again, which of the must be false? That means some cases will be there. This is a definite answer. Theta. Number of bureaucrats in administration committee. Number of education. This is again a theta definite. That means there's only one case possible for this and one case possible for this. Which of the following cannot be uniquely determined? Now let us look at comparing this with set number 1, set number 2. So when you look at set number 2 versus set number 3, now between these two, this is a bigger data. And because it's a bigger data, it will also have the number of cases will also be a little more complicated. This is a smaller piece of data. This is just a 3 by 3 table. Hence, the cases will be somewhat small, fewer out here. And hence, I would say this is a set which is more preferable to me. So as far as I am concerned, now I'm very clear. Priority 1, set number 1 is there, but I also put set number 3 out here. Priority 2, I'll put set number 2 out. Okay. Why? And please understand, both set number 2 and 3 I will need to make cases. But set number 2 being a smaller table, 3 by 3 table, the number of cases which will be required will be much fewer. And hence, it is advantageous for me to do set number 3 over set number 2. Okay. Okay. Any questions from your side about the 3 sets? Okay. Okay, there are no questions, so let me continue further. Set number 4. Okay. Okay, again, no graph, but short in small information, and statements are there, and these are short statements which are good. Okay. A, B, C, D, Adrena, Bandita, Chitra, and Daisy have 4 female students. Amit, Balman, Chetan, Dev. This is what I don't like. A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D. I wish they had given different alphabets. Are 4 male students. Each of them studies in one of the 3 institutes XYZ. Okay. Each student majors in one subject amongst the following: marketing, operation, and finance, and minors in a different one among these 3 subjects. The following facts are known about the students. First question: what kind of table you will need to make? Okay. Always look at what is the kind of table, what is the kind of layout I need to be creating for this, so that I know what is the extent of complication which is going to be there. So the way I look at it, we have 4 female students, let's say A, B, C, D, and 4 male students. Let me call them A dash, B dash, C dash, and D dash. So this is A dash, this is B dash, this is C dash, and this is D dash. Similarly, A, B, C, and D are the 4 females. So these are the females, and these are the males. Okay. And what do we need to do? First thing, we need to find which institute do they belong to. So that's one variable. Then the second variable is what is the major they have and what is the minor they have. And the majors and minors both of them have to be from marketing, operations, and finance. Okay. So this is what we need to do. Okay. So table again another table that we need to make out here. Okay. 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 Now let's look at the statements. Okay. 3 students are from X2 from some data given out here. I'm not going through them in detail. I'm just trying to get the hang of it. Okay. So 1 female, 2 male students. So sufficient data, it seems, is there. Daisy minus operation. But the key thing out here is they have to look at major and minors both and institute each. Okay. Now look at the questions. The interesting thing out here is, who are these students from institute Z? This is a question which should be helpful to me. Okay, which should be, if I find someone is, for example, if I find B is from, hypothetically, if I say B is from Institute X, okay, that means this, I don't even need to worry about C. If I can say B is from Institute X, so Institute Z is, that means this choice itself will become. So this is a good question to have, because as I keep solving that set, whenever I get information about any one of these people, either Edwina Bandita or Chitra Daisy or Edwina Daisy or Bandita Chitra, or any one of them, I find some information, I will come back to this question and eliminate choices. So there's a kind of a jugaad question for me, and I will use it. Okay. But the other 3 questions are interesting. All these remaining questions are telling me cannot be determined. Cannot be determined. This is telling me multiple cases very clearly. This is telling me you are unlikely to be able to finish complete the table. In fact, question number 4 is clearly telling me if Chitra majors in finance, which subject did Bandita major in? What does it mean? As far as Chitra and Bandita are concerned, we will not be able to find out which subject did they major in. Okay. For Bandita and Chitra, we will not be able to find out which subject did they major in. They can major in finance, but there would be other subject also. So we will not be able to say for sure. So there will be cases out here. Okay. So the second thing when I look at this table is that this is a table, there's a data set which will be incomplete. And for at least Bandita and Chitra, we will not have the complete information. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So where do we place it now? Now when I look at again set number 1, priority 1, we had set number 1. Okay. And set number 3. Priority 2, we had put set number 2. Where do I put set number 4? Now set number 4 is a bigger table. The size of the table is huge, while the number of institutes is only 3XYZ. For each of them, I need to have a different major and minor. And this kind of data sets can be a bit confusing also. And in this particular case, we know that we will get multiple cases. Okay. So I will say this is, as far as I am concerned, I get a little confused, and these are typically time consuming for me. These are the sets which are typically a bit time consuming for me, and hence for me, this is a priority 2 set. Okay. Okay. Farhan, I am not clear about the question. When you say table making approach, what do you want me to specify? Can you be a little more elaborate in your question? Okay. Okay. So Farhan, I'm giving you out here what is the outline of the table, and this is something you should be able to think of when you are reading the information. Okay. Okay. So as far as I am concerned, this is a situation at this point of time where priority 1 is set number 1 and set number 2, priority 2 are set number 2 and 4. At this point of time, I have not come across any set which I would think is not doable for me, or which is something I am not interested in. Okay. Okay. Let's go to set number 5. Okay. An ATM dispenses exactly rupees 5,000 per withdrawal using 100, 200 and 500 rupee notes. The ATM requires every customer to give her preference for one of the 3 denomination of notes. Okay. So you need to give her your preference as to which of the 3 notes you are more interested in. You want your preferences for 100 or 200 or 500. Okay. It then dispenses notes such that the number of notes of the customer's preferred denomination exceeds the total number of notes of other denominations put to her. Okay. So let me say 100, 200 and 500. He's saying if your preferred denomination is whatever is your preferred. So if this is your preferred denomination, then the number of notes of 200 will be greater than the number of notes of 100 plus 500. So that is what it is saying. Now, this very little information, only one condition is given. What is the condition given? Or rather, 2 conditions. That every time you have to dispense 5,000 rupee notes in a way that the customer's preferred denomination exceeds the total number of the notes of the other 2 denominations. Okay. So that's the only condition. What does that tell you? No table. On the contrary, this is telling me each question is going to be independent. I may be able to use information of one question to other, but by and large, this is telling me clearly that each question is independent, and hence I can pick and choose. Now, this is a kind of data set in which I can decide which are the 1 or 2 or 3 questions that I will do and which are the 1 or 2 or 3 questions I will leave. So typically, because I can pick and choose, there is no table to be made. I need to look at all the questions together and say which are the easy ones and just do them, and keep leaving the difficult or the confusing ones. In this kind of a data set, it is perfectly easy to find to do 1, 2 or 3 sets and leave the other confusing ones. So even if you do only 2 questions, perfectly fine. No issues at all. These are my filler data sets where I'm okay doing 1 or 2 questions. If any question that I find confusing, I can comfortably leave. And these kind of data sets, I don't start from question number 1. These kind of data sets you should look at when you start solving. Look at all the 4 questions together. Once you have looked at all the 4 questions together, please identify the easier ones and then go for the next one. Okay. It is possible that the first question might be easiest. It is possible the second question might be easiest, or the 4th question might be easiest. Okay. So where do I place this? This is my priority 2. Why priority 2? Because priority 1, I want to just get everything done and move on. I don't want to leave a question in priority 1. These are my easier sets. This is my filler set. A filler set. And secondly, because this is a set in which no table is required in the end. If I have, let's say, 7 to 8 minutes left, or even, let's say, 5 minutes left, this is a very good set for me, because all I do is pick out 2 easy questions and solve them. Okay. So this is a set which I don't have any problem leaving for later. I will look at this set in priority 2. Not priority 3, because priority 3 are the ones that typically don't solve. So when I look at set number 1, That was my priority 1. Priority 2, the set 3 was, and now I have set number 4 was also priority 2, and set number 5. Oh, set number 5. Okay. Okay. Okay, Farhan, possibly you need to talk to me. Give me a call after the session. Okay, so this is my order of priority right now, and please remember set number. Oh, sorry, set number 5. I'm sorry. Set number 5 is priority 2 for me. This is my independent questions. If it is the last 5-7 minutes I have left and nothing to do, this is the set I would want to attempt, because this is where I know I will solve 2 or 3 questions, or maybe 1 or 2 questions, and be done with it. Because no table is to be made, and each question is independent of the other. Pariti, when you look at this question, this set, when you said for pick and choose set, ideal or maximum time to spend on each question, Pariti, again, it boils down to the same thing. In DILR, if you are able to get 3 to 4 marks in 3 minutes is perfect. 2 to 3 marks in 3 minutes is perfectly fine. Or if you can solve a question in 3 minutes is good. 4 minutes is also fine. So I would say in general in DILR, in this kind of a set, which is independent questions only, if you do a question 3 minutes or up to 4 minutes is fine. So 3 to 4 minutes, I'll say, is the range you should be looking at. Obviously, if you can do it lesser time, it is perfectly fine. But there's only one way to call. I'll share my number at the end of the session. Okay. So Pariti, I hope that clarifies the issue for you. Okay, there was another question actually. Let me just see. Rana, if you are getting confused, finding the not able to gain confidence through marks, first do the PYQs. Previously, questions should be able to help. You. Okay, Anirudh, what is the ideal time taken to prioritize sets? Anirudh, if I look at the 4 sets of data, which is the current pattern of the paper, you should take about 7 to 8 minutes. In 7 to 8 minutes, let's say roughly 2 minutes per set, you should be able to gauge whether it is easy for you, medium for you, or difficult for you. Or is it priority 1 or priority 2 or priority 3? Okay. This is what you should be able to gauge in about 8 minutes and then solve accordingly. Obviously, solve these first. After that, if you have time, go to the priority 2. And typically, this third priority 3, in any case, is difficult or time consuming. You will probably not end up solving it at all. Okay. Next set number 6. And just to be clear, so far, what is the priority we have set? Let me just put it very clearly. Priority 1, priority 2, priority 3. Nothing in priority 3. That means that at this point of time, I don't think there's any set which is not doable at all for me. Set number 1 and set number 3 are my priority 1 sets. Set number 2, set number 4, and set number 5 are my priority 2 sets. Okay. 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 Set number 6. Fuel contamination level in each of the 20 petrol pumps, P1 to P20, was recorded as either high, medium, or low. Okay. And then we have 5 statements. Only this information given. Okay. Now, I don't like this set from the beginning itself. Why? Because the moment you say P1 to P20, I need to make a big table. That means I'll have to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So I need to do this kind of a table. Not only that, it could be multiple cases. So case 1, case 2, case 2. Then I'll need to do case 3, case 4, case 5. I don't know how many cases will be required. But the moment you say there's such a huge table, it is likely to be confusing. Okay. Now, since there's hardly any information, it is perfectly fine to read the statements also. It is telling me contamination level in P1 to P5, 3, okay. 3 are high between P1 to P5. P6 is the only pump among P1 to 10 where contamination level is recorded as low. So P6 is the only pump in which contamination level is recorded low among the top 10, P1 to P10. Okay, till P10, no other lows are there. So that means that means these and these are only highs and lows, high and medium, sorry, high and medium, no lows out here. Okay, P7, 8 are the only two consecutively numbers pumped where the contamination level is the recorded. Now I have got two cases. These two could be medium each, these could be high each because low is not possible. So straight away you can see two different cases have come apart from the other things. High contamination level were not recorded in any of P16 to P20. So these are nothing but low or medium. High is not there. The number of pumps where high contamination level was recorded was twice the number of pumps where lower contamination. So number of pumps where high is recorded is twice the number of pumps where low is recorded. Now very little information. What is it telling you? Cases, cases, cases and cases. Why? Because very little information. Obviously, they'll ask us to do all kind of jugglery. Okay, they'll ask us to do all kind of jugglery out here. So we will have to start making cases out here. Okay, and this is a data which is a big table. Bigger the table, the more complicated the cases can be. So which is why I'm not very keen on doing this as a set. But quickly, let's look at the questions. Which of the following must be true? True in all cases. That means true in all cases, which tells you very clearly that as far as we are concerned, we have to deal with multiple cases. Question 2, what best can be said about the number of pumps in which contamination level was recorded as medium? Now, this could be my jugaad question, and where I could probably end up using the choices to eliminate and do something about it. Okay, I'll come back to this in a minute. But look at question number 3. If contamination level at P level was recorded as low, what does this tell you? That as far as P11 is concerned, it will have multiple possibilities. It could be low, it could be medium, it could be high. All three possibilities are possible. So that means we need to look at that particular case where P11 is low. Okay? So we start with so this again is a specific case. Similarly, question number 4. If contamination level at P15 was recorded as medium, same. P15 could be multiple cases. We are looking at one case where medium. So as compared to question number 1, which is expecting me to look at all possible cases, question 3 and question 4, they are asking me to look at a case, at a specific case. P11 is low and P15 is medium. So I need to create that case where first I'll need to put P15 as medium and P11 as low and then solve. So typically if I have to solve, for me, this will be solve question number 2 first, then question number 3, then question number 4. These two could be interchanged. 3, 4 or 4, 3 is fine, and then go back to question 1. Because question 1 wants me to look at all possible cases. Question 3 and 4 want me to look at only one specific case. But as I said, there's a data set which looks to be high in terms of the number of cases because the possibilities are going to be very high. Okay? Maybe there'll be 4 cases, maybe 6 cases, maybe 3 cases, I don't know. But end of the day, this is a kind of data set which is going to be time consuming. So this is my, given the size of the data and given the fact that it is going to be multiple cases, this becomes my priority 3 item. So now my order of priority changes. Priority 1. Okay. Priority 1, we had put set number 1 and set number 3. Priority 2 was set number 2, set number 4 and set number 5. And priority 3 is set number 6. This is a set I'm not keen on, but this is a question which I will be very keen to attempt. Because, why? Because, okay, let me just give it to you. Okay, let me just give you something which is interesting out here. Okay, look at this. Look at statement number 5. The number of pumps where high contamination levels was recorded was twice the number of pumps where low contamination level was recorded. Now, what does that tell you? Okay, what does this tell you? This tells you that high plus low has to be a multiple of 3. Because if the number of pumps where low contamination level is recorded is X, this will be 2X or total will be equal to 3X. So let's assume a multiple of 3. Okay. So Now look at this particular question again. Okay. So if I medium, what can be high plus low? Okay. High plus low has to be a multiple of 3. It can be 6. It can be 9. It can be 12. It can be 15. It can be 18. That means medium can be 14, 9, 11, 8, 7, 3. Eliminate choices from here. Now, based on the data out here, you will be able to clearly eliminate. I've given you a very important hint. Now, please look at doing it yourself. Okay. When we solve this data set, then we'll consider look at it again. But with this, you should be able to solve the data set very, very clearly. Okay. And let me also tell you very clearly, these two cases are not possible for medium. Medium cannot be more than 50%. Similarly, high plus low, this means high plus low is 10 plus 5. High plus low, and this means high plus low is 12 plus 6. High cannot be more than 50%. These cases go away immediately, and it is going to be exactly 8. And this is what will solve the set for you. Okay. So I'm leaving it here, but going back to the basic funda, this is the order of priority that you should be look at. Okay. Set number 7. Again, very little information. Okay. Do you remember that ATM wala set? Yeah, this one. Is it not similar? Very little information, and when it has very little information, what does it mean? Typically, the rule will be given. The rule was 5,000 per withdrawal, and the notes of the customer preferred denomination exceed the number of notes of the other denominations. This is 2 rules given. Similarly, in the next set also, you'll find there will be 2. The possible rules are given, and you have to solve questions based on the rules, and it could be independent questions. Okay. So set number 7, you are given a n by n square matrix to be filled with numerals such that no 2 adjacent cells have the same numeral. Okay. 2 cells are called adjacent if they touch either horizontally, vertically, or diagonally. So a cell in one of the 4 corners has 3 cells adjacent to it, and a cell in the first or the last row or column, which is not a corner, has 5 cells adjacent to it. Any other cell has 8 cells adjacent to it. Okay, great. Okay. Now, what does it mean? Now, it is about n by n square matrix. Now, what is the way I will solve this question? I will get I'll get the basics in place. I'll get the rules or the logic in place by looking at a 2 by 2 matrix first, then a 3 by 3 matrix first, then a 3 by 3 matrix, and then maybe based on these 2, I should be able to get the rule, and I should be able to do a 4 by 4 or 5 by 5 or a 6 by 6 kind of a matrix. So the way I do these questions, I typically get the logic in place using smaller sets because the number of cases are going to be limited. Okay. For example, it says, look at this, no 2 adjacent cells have same numerals. So if this is 1, this cannot have the same numeral, this cannot have the same numeral. So this will be 2, this can be 3, this will be 4. Similarly out here, 1, this cannot be 1, so this has to be different. This is also adjacent to 1, so this has to be different. This has to be adjacent to 1, this has to be different. But this can be 1 again. This can be 4 again. Why? Because this 1 and these 1 are not adjacent. Okay? So I can get the logic in place using the smaller sets, and then I can go further. Quick look at the questions. What is the minimum number of different numerals needed to fill a 3 by 3 square matrix? Okay, fine. What is the question 2? Minimum number of different numerals needed to 5 by 5 square matrix. Okay. Now, next question is also about 5 by 5. Next is also about 5 by 5. This is a kind of data set I like. Why do I like this? Because it is helping me get the logic in place using a smaller one and then asking me to go to the big one. This is a set I definitely want to attempt. Excuse me. Okay, so there's a set I want to attempt, and please remember, this is a kind of set which many people leave. Why? Because it's something new. I need to understand the logic, but logic I can derive using the smaller cases. Okay, and again, this is a data set which has got independent questions by and large. Okay, independent questions, and when we solve this set, I will also show you this is a jugaad kind of a thing, where based on the answer for this, the other 2 you will be able to get to a great extent. Okay. So now my order of priority again changes. What is my order of priority? My order of priority, set number 1, priority 1 was set number 1. Then I had a set number 3. Okay, and I have set number 2 and set number 4. I think it was set number 4 only, no? Okay. This was my priority 2. And set number 5. And my priority 3 was set number 6. Now I'll say set number 7 is my priority 1. I know this is a simple get done kind of a thing. All I need to do is put pen on paper, get the logic in place. Okay, I get the logic in place. Similarly, this if I just to complete this thing, I can copy it here. 1, 2, 1. So how many numerals do I need? 4 numerals I need it. Okay. So this is 4. Now I can do the same thing for 5 by 5 also and take forward for the other. So this is my order of priority so far. Okay, and within priority 1 also, I will first do set number 1, then set number 3, and then set number 7. This is the order I am looking at this point of time. Okay. Agree with you, Aman. Unfortunately, many people did not attempt the set at all in the paper. This is the easiest set possibly, or not the easiest, I'll say, the second easiest maybe. Set number 1 and set number 7 are probably the 2 easiest sets of this paper. Okay, set number 8. Okay. Again, very little information with 4 statements. So let's read these data. 1600 satellites were set up by a country for several purposes. The purposes were classified as broadcasting, communication, and surveillance, and others. So broadcasting, communication, service. A satellite can serve multiple purposes. However, a satellite serving B or C or S does not serve O. Very clearly, there's a Venn diagram data set. You have satellite which can serve for broadcasting, for communication, and for surveillance. And there's a fourth which can be. Okay, so these are Venn diagram. Okay, 1600 is the total number of satellites. Okay. Now look at the data in place. Quick look. Whenever I have a Venn diagram, I want to see, do I get numbers or do I get ratios? What am I getting? If I'm getting primarily numbers, that means this is a easy set. If I'm getting primarily ratios, that means it's a difficult set. Why? Because if it is giving me ratios, I'll need to find each of these numbers separately. And if it is ratios, that means I will get the range. I'll have to make equation, I'll get the range, and the question will be for maxima minima. But if it is numbers, it is easy because I can input those numbers into the Venn diagram straight away. And hence I'll be able to solve it faster. So when you're looking at the Venn diagram data set, please be on the lookout for the fact whether it is numbers or whether it is ratio that we are getting. So out here we have one number, but look at statement 1. The number of satellites serving BCS and the ratio of 2:1:1. This is a ratio which is given. Okay. Number of satellites serving all 3 is 100. BCS is 100. Then the number of satellites serving C, exclusively serving C, is same as the number of satellites exclusively serving S. This number is 30% of the number of satellites exclusively servicing B. Again, this is what? Ratio. So statement 1 is giving me a ratio. Statement 3 is giving me a ratio. Statement 2 is giving me one number. Statement 4, the number of satellites serving S is the same as the number of satellites serving both C and S but not B. It is again giving me a ratio. What does it mean? This is likely to be a difficult data set. After all, you'll have to. So if I just look at this, this is a B, this is a C, this is S, and this is O. This number is 100. It says this is 2x, this is x, and this is x. Ratio given. Secondly, what does it say? The number of satellites serving C is the same as the number of satellites exclusively serving S. This number is 30% of the number. Okay. So if this is 10y, this will be 3y and 3y. See, all I'm getting is equations. All I'm getting is equations, nothing but equations. So, okay, then the last thing is the number of satellites serving O is the number same as the number of satellites serving both C and S. Both C and S. This is C and this is S, but not B. So if I say this is Z, this is also Z. Okay. So what is it telling you? It is telling you very clearly that there is a data set which is about ratios. It will make you form equation. You have to form equation and then you'll have to solve it. Okay. Let's look at the questions. Look at the first question. What best can be said about the number of satellite surveillance? Again, the answer is by and large in a range. Cannot be more than 800, must be between 400, 800, must be between. This is range. That means I'll have to solve equations. I'll have to form equation and solve equations to solve. Question 2, minimum. Again, a function of the fact that you have been given only the range, or you have been given only the data pertaining to the ratios rather than numbers. Okay. Statement 3, if at least 100 of 1600 satellites are serving over, what can be said about? Again, same thing. And similarly, question number 4. This set straight away becomes an issue for me. So now when I'm looking at my priority 1, 2, 3, priority 3, okay, set number 6 was priority 3. This set is also priority 3. This I'm not interested in these two sets at all. The sets which I'm most interested in are set number 1, set number 3, and set number which one was that? 6? Oh no, 5. 7, sorry. Yeah, 7. 1, 3, and 7 are the ones I'm most keen on. After that, I will look at set number 2. No, not set number 2. Which one's the 1? Okay. 2, 4, and 5. Let me just go back. What was 4 and what was 5? Yeah. Okay, this was 4. Set number 2 was the missing table. Okay. I will first do set number 5. Okay. Now what will I do? I'll first do set number 5. Why set number 5? Set number 5, if you remember, was the ATM. The ATM. Here I'll do whatever 2 or 3 questions I can and move out of it. If I find any question confusing, difficult, I'll leave it and move on for the rest. Okay. Set number 5. Then I will look at set number 2 and then I'll go to set number 4. So this is my order of priority. Now, in the worst case, even if I am not able to do any of the priority 3 sets, it does not really matter. I've got 6 sets out here. And typically, if you look at CAT papers from CAT 16, or not 16, sorry, CAT 15 to 19. In these years, about the 99 percentile was typically in the range of about 44, 45 marks. Okay, which was about 4 sets of data. And I think I can easily handle this part if I've got 1, 2, 3 sets out here. And out of these 3 sets, also, if I'm going to do 1 set more, I am safely above 99 percentile. So I am not bothered about these 2 sets. If I have time, I'll come to them. But by and large, I'm not bothered about it. In set number 6, if I have time, I'll look at that one question about the number of pumps. What was that question? Set number 6. Yeah. Question number 2 is the question which is my Jugaad question. So whereas we have these kind of numbers, it becomes easy to do to solve them. Okay. Okay. So this is the way I would want you to look at the sets. Spend about 2 minutes. So what is it that you need to do? I'll just go back. Okay. Okay. What is that you need to do? Let me just erase this thing. Okay, what do you need to do for set identification? Spend minutes per set, by and large, on an average. Okay. Okay. What do you do in these 2 minutes? Read the data, or plus the graph or the table. Okay. Try to understand how you need to tabulate the table. Then look at the questions and whether the question will be useful for you in terms of or not, in terms of solving. Also, question will confirm to you whether you will need multiple cases or not. And they will also tell you whether this is a kind of independent questions or you need to make a table. Okay. So this is what you need to be looking at doing. In about a couple of minutes, you should be able to do it. Okay. And when you're reading the data set, you should be also able to pick out which are the sets where I need to, or how will I be tabulating the table, or what is the kind of table I need.